Hi everybody, Jackie Schomburg-Abstract here. Today I'm going to go over what I use when I am out and about and I want to bring some art with me. So I use this journal and I use my Neocolor crayons. These are my old crayons. And then today I'm giving you a brand new peek into my new crayons. So the only thing I don't like about these new crayons so far is that how do you tell the difference between Neocolor I and Neocolor II? I don't know. The old crayons, it gives you a helpful label right down here. Neocolor I, Neocolor II, covering up the one. So we'll see how it goes. I will let you know how the new crayons feel. I'll show you what they can do, and I will show you how I use them in this sketchbook. Quick reminder that my Brave Art and Creative Wellness workshops are open for registration right now. I have a 5-week small group experience group that will be about 5 to 7 people per group on Fridays in the morning and in the evening. And I have a special offering this time for the first time. I'm doing a 3-week workshop on Saturday mornings, Chicago time, that will be a large group format. So because my marketing is not super well thought out in advance, this might be a very small group experience this time, but that might be a great thing for you. So if you'd like to try it out, this would be a great time to try it out, and you can put in as much of your own participation as you'd like. If you'd like to just observe and kind of hang out in the back, you'll still get the benefit of going through the process with us and hearing from everyone else. If you'd like more information, please go to JackieSchomburg.com/workshops, or you can click up in whichever corner it's going to be in. There'll be a link up here. Hi everybody. So this is my typical gear that I carry around with me in my purse, in my bag, wherever I go. So it's just as a journal. It's pronounced, I think, Ciak, C-I-A-K. And I paid way too much in shipping to get this from Italy, but it was fun and I liked it. You can get them in the US for cheaper, but they have lines and I like the unlined version. Anywho, these are my crayons. I've had these are the crayons, exact same crayons I took with me 10 plus years ago downtown to work every day. You can see that they're still here. They're still doing great, but they are much smaller and much rattier. And I decided, since I've been swapping them out with some of my other crayons, just so I continue to have more colors, check this out. Brand new. I even waited to take the wrapper off for you guys. So, not goodbye to these new crayons, or the old crayons. These are my buddies. These will probably be with me for the next 10 years as well. But I wanted to have some full-size crayons so that I could hold them easier and make things easier. So this is Neocolor I. Neocolor I crayons are not water-soluble, which means if you use them and then add water, they will not smear. Watercolor or Neocolor II crayons are water-soluble, and if you use them and add water, they turn into like a watercolor paint situation. And I'm going to show you that right now. So, old crayons out, new crayons in. So these are Neocolor Is, again, not water soluble. And guys, you know you haven't purchased art supplies for a while when they've completely rebranded themselves, or at least changed their whole situation. These are upside down. No, they aren't. All right, look at this. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. And there's even some, can you guys see this? There's even some very clear stickers here that you really can't see. Oh, so beautiful. Again, here's my old Neocolor Is. I mean, come on. These are still just as good, but these are so fresh and clean. Okay, now for my Neocolor IIs, I believe these are going to be the same colors, but let's see. And obviously, I can't throw these out because these would probably be great for collage. So more stickers. Yeah, and these colors look like they're the same colors, but again, they work differently. So let me show you how these work. Okay. So this is my journal. I take it with me. Last night I took this to a place called Ravinia, which is it's an outdoor music venue, but you sit in the grass, you have a picnic, people get very fancy and bring wine and candles, and it's just very aesthetically pleasing. And I saw Michael Franti there with some great friends, and it was lovely. So I brought my old crayons. This was when I went to the doctor with my son Baxter, who does not usually draw with me. He drew with me. I drew on this side, he drew on this side, and I was delighted that he drew with me. So anyway, now we're on page 141. And I will show you the difference now between the Neocolor Is and the Neocolor IIs. So this is Neocolor I, again, not water soluble. So let's say I'm gonna do this, and I'll carry it over here. Okay, so if I take some water, I have a brush over here. Okay, so I take some water and I'm putting this on, nothing's happening because it's not water soluble. You have to trust me that the brush is wet, but it is. Now, let me dry this off. Okay, now if I take Neocolor IIs, they're called aquarelles, and we'll use this purple color. And I'll do this, and I'll put some over here. Okay, now if I take that same paintbrush with just water, see how this smears and becomes this gorgeous magenta color. And it's just very flowy. I don't have to put this everywhere, but I can, right? Just like anything with art, you can put it wherever you want. Spread it out. And again, the green underneath will not smear. It is fixed, it's not water soluble. And you can use this to inform, right? You can do a really light wash just by continuing this out. As your brush gets wetter or drier, it will thin out. Okay, so that's that. What I can also do, let me move my water so it's closer here. Collage paper on it. By the way, can we give it up to this fresh, clean piece of paper I put on my desk? That means I cleaned it up enough to get the paper on, which I'm very proud of. Okay, I don't know how long it'll last, but right now it's clean. So I'm going to use this red. Now this is a Neocolor II crayon, so this is water soluble. If I dip it in the water first, it becomes even smoother. So you see how there's like this is a little bit rougher of a line when I dip it in water. It just becomes super smooth and silky. Again, I can take this and spread it out more and blend it in with the purple if I want to. And spread some on the other page just for fun. Clearly I'm not working on a masterpiece here, but I'm just playing with my new crayons. All right, now I'm gonna take some of this, what is this color? It's one of my favorite colors. It's just orange. They call it orange. It's more like a goldenrod color, in my opinion. And since this is still wet, you can see how it kind of cuts through the other colors. And it goes over a dry spot, it'll become more like waxy crayon again. And of course I can turn it on its side and color more. And it really, having the two different types of crayons, I personally like, because I can keep it so that this is all fixed, right? None of this is water soluble. So again, for proof, see, not water soluble. But then I can move to the exact same color that is water soluble, and I can really control where I want this color to, I'm gonna say bleed, where I want this color to move. How's that? Okay, so the same color, see how it blends in with the other one fine. But because this is water soluble over here, I have so much control over the color and what I want to stay and what I want to blend. Blending, that's a better word. And again, I just forgot right now that the colors over here are not water soluble, but because this is, I can still drag some of this color over here. And it's not coming from the Neocolor ones because those don't bleed. It's just coming from the residue of the pigment from that over here. All right. There's so much flexibility. And honestly, guys, I take these things everywhere. This is essentially the setup that I had when I was taking my sketchbook down on the train to my corporate job. You know, gosh, almost 9 years ago now. Maybe it is 9 years ago. 2014. Yeah, geez, 10 years ago. It'll be 10 years in October. Hooray! Freedom! Even though I still have dreams about my old job, which is unsettling at times. So here we go. I'll put some brown in here just to give it a little depth. I don't really know why. I don't know why. I felt like I had to justify it. I'm just adding brown. How's that? And since that's, again, my Neocolor II, I can spread it around. You do need to be careful if there's layers underneath, like if I have other layers back here that are also water soluble, I don't want to get the wetness from this particular page onto those other pages. So, you know, like anything else, you have to remember what's on the other side of the page and if you want to keep it or not. And this is just scribbling. Last night when I brought this to the concert, some friends of friends that were with us were like, "Oh, what are you working on over there? What are you drawing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just scribbling. Just nothing really to see here. I'm just scribbling." And it was really fun, and I'm glad that I have it. Just because, again, if nothing else, it is a souvenir of my experience there. Like in my workshops, the things that we make, sometimes it ends up that we want to hang them and put them on our walls. And sometimes it's just a souvenir of the experience that we had when we were working on that particular day at that particular time. And that's enough. Sometimes we forget that that's all it has to be. It doesn't have to be in preparation for anything or leading up to a show or part of a grand series. It can just be a moment in time, right at the doctor's office with my son. That's it. I'm never gonna rip these out and sell them. That's not at all the purpose. I'm not trying to create anything amazing. Just having fun. Trying out my new crayons today. I love this blue. Look at that. Oh my goodness. You know, it's funny because I didn't think there would be any difference in the, you know, quote unquote performance of these crayons, new versus old. But I can tell with this one that there's a lot of pigment ready to come out here. And I don't know that that's the same as my old crayons. Let's try it. I don't know if I even have that color. Is this cobalt? This might be cobalt. Okay, so let's try this down. I'll try it down here. Put it over here. So I think this is the same color. Get this off my brush. Let's see. Oh, not Neocolor II. Let's try the Neocolor IIs. I don't have that same color here, so I guess I'll never know. that'll be a mystery, and that's okay. No, this is, so as this dries, these pages are curling up a little bit because this is not, oh, I've got a little bit through here too. These are not, this is not a sketchbook, this is a journal. So these pages are thin. They're not necessarily meant for water at all, but I can still cheat and do it. And here last night, oh, see, it's going through this side too. All right, I'm not sure I wanted that effect, but whatever. This, I put a little bit of water on a napkin yesterday and just blended this down and around here a little bit. So I think I'm using too much water on this today, but whatever, it's fine. All right, so I'm gonna put some stripes in here. Put some white down. And I'll use some black. So I can either use the Neocolor I black, or I can use my China pencil. Both of them will stand up, they will not bleed. So maybe I'll do half and half, see what I like better. So this is the Neocolor I crayon. This is the China marker. China marker is just a bit waxier, right? It's called a grease pencil. I don't notice a ton of difference. This one has a little bit more pigment. This one is a little bit blacker of a black. So for that reason, I like that. So there doesn't need to be any rhyme or reason, as I mentioned. I would encourage you guys, try some new, if you have the budget for fancy crayons, I highly recommend these. I know not everyone loves them. I really do. They feel so much better than Crayola crayons, but they're really fancy and they're much more expensive than anyone would ever need from an art supply. So if you want the benefit of having them be water soluble, which is how I started with these, then by all means, grab some and play. If you're not interested and things feel too precious, if you're spending money on crayons like this, I think these were $20 or $30 each for 15 crayons each. So way more expensive than Crayola. And not, 8 times better than Crayola. Let's be upfront about that. They're fun, but they're very much a luxury, not a necessity. And you can do this whole thing with Crayola crayons just fine. This is also a fun way to use pastels or paint, really anything. It's just fun to play. I like to carry these across the midsection to connect them. Not necessary in any way, but fun. Sometimes the best things are the things that are not necessary, right? Because it is a luxury to have time and space and life to paint and play and create. And I certainly forget that sometimes, but nothing is owed to us. So any time that we get to play is a luxury, and I am thankful for it. Some yellow ochre to add a bit more of a darker value down here. And now I'm getting some black dust on my paintbrush, which is spreading that around. Not necessarily what I was looking for, but not that big of a deal. Oops. I want some dark up here too. add some white to make this part a little lighter. Doesn't show up a lot, but it's giving me a little bit of the highlight I'm looking for. And if you want to make a focal point, right, you want to put the lightest and the darkest colors next to each other. That's a very quick hack to make something stand out. All right, so this is my new set of crayons. You might see these more on camera, you might not. So I hope that you'll find something fun to play with and experiment. If you are doing something where you're traveling a lot or you're commuting and you're not driving yourself, right? If you're on a train or a plane or a bus, highly recommend grabbing a pencil case. You can use just a regular pencil case like this, right? Fill it up with crayons. Grab a journal. There's a million journals that are about this size, which is 8 by 5. I also have my teeny tiny one right here, which is 4 by 4, which is just adorable. And this is also very easy just to put in your pocket or your purse and play. So I hope that you'll try this. Does anyone do this on a regular basis or has ever done this before? Just carry crayons with you wherever you go and play and scribble. I would love to hear about it in the comments. What do you use? What are your favorite materials to use in those situations? Let us know in the comments so we can all get more ideas.